Well, hi,
Hey.
Christine.
Well, hello again.
Hi.
Happy Thursday. Happy
Happy,
Edmonton Advances Day, I guess. So,
happy, stressful playoffs that we don't need to worry about because we're New
ugh.
York Ranger fans and our team has not been in it since the beginning. But we
I'm okay with
absolutely
that right
have a
now.
lot to cover today.
Yeah. Huh?
We absolutely have a lot to cover today.
We absolutely do. And look, we're kind of finishing up this second round of playoffs. It's been a brutal, I think on all fronts. So watching it's been entertaining, stressful, chaotic, and we're not even like the representation of the fans, so we're just, kind of trying to watch it unbiasedly. And I still find myself yelling. I don't know about you.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
think,
something.
some of and we'll get into this more. I mean, some of
Yeah.
these series have been super intense. And I think across the board, we are feeling for our Canadian friends right now. We have a lot of friends who are fans of teams that are still in it. They're hanging in there. And we have a very special episode of Double Defense today because we are going to be joined by not one, by not two, but by three Toronto Maple Leafs fans to hear what it is like to be a Maple Leafs fan in this day and age. So I am happy to welcome to the stage Kyle, Juliana, and Taylor.
Yay! Welcome, you
Hey
guys.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for being on. I'm just going to jump in there. Like, how are y'all feeling?
Well, tough after yesterday, yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's start with last night. Okay, so right now it's like you went in last night 2-2, where I think Juliana and Taylor are having technical difficulties because they're spinning. So so try to keep coming back on, and we'll kind of deal with it. But yeah, like so Kyle, you had a few, like, you're not really. Oh, there they are. Yay, hi. So yeah, we were wondering how this was going to go today, knowing that the game played last night and it could have gone either way, and they were in Toronto yesterday. So, what the thought afterwards and what I was hearing was that they just felt like they gave up. Did you kind of see it or sense that kind of throughout the game? And at what point did you notice that where there just wasn't going to be a recovery? Was it second, third, fourth, fifth?
4-0. When it was 4-0, it was like, it's done. I was very confused because after 4-0, Wool should have been pulled then. Murray should have put in that. Why did they wait so long to flip the goalie? I don't know. And then they put Murray in, and then it's 6. Was it 6? No, it was 6-0, and then it was 6-1. So 4-0, I was done. There was no heart. There was no. I don't know. They're such a talented team, but they just they lack the grit. They don't have the grit like Florida. They have grit. They're tough as hell. And in my opinion, they're not as talented as the Leafs, but if your heart's not in it,
there was talk about like the Panthers they're good in that they know how to spot and match the play and the energy of the other team. And that's why they kind of continue to do so well, year after year and round after round. So, I'll tell you, Taylor and Juliana were actually at the game last week.
No kidding.
Yeah. So let's kind of turn it a little bit because their story sounds really fun. That's why I wanted to have them on. And it'll kind of give a nice little, like sweet twist to everything, knowing that like hockey's just chaotic anyway, but you guys, so tell us a story about last week when you kind of went down to the game and to watch it in the square, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of started. I've gotten us a couple tailgate passes, which are already hard to get, but I fight for them every game so we can go down and be with fans in the square. And so that was kind of our usual plan. We headed down to go to the square after our last class of the day. And then Taylor can continue because she tells it well.
So we got to the square. We got there nice and early, like 2 hours before puck drop, and we were just hanging out in the crowd. We got ourselves a nice beverage to enjoy, just hanging out. It's a great atmosphere down there in Maple Leaf Square. I don't think there's anything like it in the hockey community. There's teams that try to replicate it, but I just don't think that it's the same. But when you're in there, it's electric, and that's why we like to go down there. And so we were just excited for the night, right? So we ended up I really wanted a Leafs jersey because at these tailgates, they really like to give out and spoil the Leafs fans with prizes like memorabilia, jerseys, hats, you name it. Like they'll throw it out to the crowd. So I told Julianna, like, my goal tonight is to get a jersey. We're snagging one out of the air. Like when they throw it, jump as high as you can. So yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that, but we ended up with something way better. We got picked out of the crowd to go inside to watch game 3. Was it? Yeah, game 3. Game 4?
2.
Game 2? I'm lost.
It was last week.
It was
But
last week.
They were
So-
basically like, whoever screams the loudest and jumps the highest will get tickets to sit right behind the Maple Leafs bench and watch the game. So it was 10 minutes before the game, and we just looked at each other and we were like, we're getting those tickets.
Go time. It's go time.
Yeah.
I started throwing her, like I grabbed her, threw her in the air. I was throwing my hat and throwing her in the air. And the guy on stage was like, you guys, you're going in. And it was insane. Like insane. Yeah.
I've been to a couple of Leafs games, but they're obviously like really expensive to go to. So the only times I've ever been are regular season, and they're usually like tickets that are gifted to me or by like companies. So it was really cool to be behind the bench at such an important game, and like the atmosphere was incredible in there. I've been a Leafs fan my entire life, and so it was like almost like a life-changing moment for me. It was incredible. Like I loved every aspect of it, and you know, they won that game, so that was the extra like super cool thing that we got to be there and watch them win. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
That is pretty wicked. That's pretty wicked.
I know,
I've seen it. I've seen the tailgate. I was actually at the second last game of the season, Toronto Montreal, watching that game. But what do they call it? The
Maple Leaf Square.
The square. Okay, I thought there was a nickname to it. It's the vibe is amazing down there.
I feel like it's a very Canadian thing that all the Canadian teams seem to have like their street parties. Like it is down to a science.
It's been fantastic to see, because not only do you have these squares completely filled, you know, shoulder to shoulder, it appears it's like that, in Edmonton, in Winnipeg, and in Toronto, but everybody's representing in the jerseys, you know, in the colors, you know, and so it's so unified and stuff, and we really don't see that. In fact, I think saw yesterday where there was like they've panned onto a crowd like representing, you know, Vegas, which I mean, you know, in the US everyone's going to be watching it, but they're watching it 100 different places. You guys tend to more gather into that one spot, you know. So when you were watching it, because you said you've gone to the square before and they have it on screens, like what's it like? Because you guys are standing there for 3 hours, you know. And wasn't it? There was a rainy day in there somewhere.
So we
were
got
there.
ponchos on in the pouring rain,
soaked for 3-4 hours, just watching necks crank at the screen. Like it's like passion, right? You do what you can do to support, and you want to be there. You want to be there, rain or shine, to show your dedication, because. The announcers always say, and I believe it too, like they can feel that energy. The players can feel that energy of the support that they get from the city. And it's insane when you see how many people show up and show out for them, no matter what circumstance. It's really something special. And I hope it does feed them. We might need to be a little louder.
Or the question is, does Austin Matthews feel that vibe? Because I find he's a little numb or something. There's something up with Matthews I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Scottsdale air or something. I don't know.
Yeah, living in the desert.
Kyle, can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I've heard a few people kind of mention that. What do you think is going on? Is this like a mental thing? Is this a physical thing? Where do you think this comes from?
There's a lot of rumors that he's injured. He doesn't look 100%. He hits the post more than he scores, but you see it on his face, like. You know, you're down 3-0, you're down 4-0, and then it zooms in on Matthews sitting, you know, on the bench, you know, before next line change up, and he's just he pisses me off. He's just like, you know, oh, it's all, and there's still, you know, half a game left, and he wears it on his face that he gives in. It's just, and maybe he's injured, but you know what? You go a few years back when Leafs were playing Boston. Boston takes out Leafs like they always do. And then, they continue on, make it to the conference finals. And then you hear about, Patrice Bergeron, broken rib, broken clavicle, something wrong with his ankle, and a punctured lung. And he played through it with his head up the entire time. There was never, ever a doubt that they were going to play. Like Boston was an amazing team. And so they got rid of Marchand and they fucked up. But Matthews doesn't have that. He just scout. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I think as Ranger fans, we kind of got used to sort of seeing like an apathetic attitude on the bench. And I agree with you. As a fan, it's infuriating, especially when you go to a game and like you guys were saying, it's expensive to go. And you're like, man, like we are paying, also like $25 a beer to watch you guys show up, especially now when it counts the most for the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, they were announcing, when I was watching the game, that people were leaving after that fourth goal, so
people were throwing their jerseys on the ice. The ref picked up at least 5 of them last night.
Yeah.
They got booed.
Dang it, Taylor needed that jersey.
Yeah, that's you needed to be at the game yesterday. Jump on the ice, grab the jerseys. Right?
Loyal fans. I think if you're a loyal fan, you wouldn't do that. Like, we've been through a lot.
Yeah, as Leaf
But-
fans. Yeah.
Personally, I'm never giving up on the hope. I would never throw my jersey on the ice.
No, I wouldn't either.
For athletes, like, they struggle with things too. And as much as like we're fans and we pay, like they get paid to be at their best level, like they still go through stuff and it probably sucks for them, like this feeling just as much as it sucks for us. So
Yeah. But for an athlete like Matthews, $13.5 million a year, suck it up.
You sound like Liz.
I totally agree. I've had this
Liz is
conversation
like,
so
we're
many
like,
times.
"Hello,
They are
it's
being
okay."
paid. They are being paid. I am not getting $13 million to be a fan. They are being paid to do it. You show up no matter what.
Suck it up. Every other aspect of your personal life, too bad.
Yeah.
Now, Julianna and Taylor, I've been through a lot, so I see the world differently. You just got to suck it up and get on with it and get it done and then move on. Not freaking. He's acting like a 14-year-old kid sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember last year when it was Matthews, Marner, and Nylander sitting on the bench, and Marner started bitching, and Nylander had to tell him to grow up, shut the F up. Like professional athletes, like bitching like kids. Sorry, I no, I don't have space for it.
Yeah, there's a few of them in there.
I
You're
think
playing
it also, like, just with Matthews, I feel like I had conversations with my dad. He's a major Leafs fan too. Like his whole life, he was 10 when they won the cup. So he has been saying to me, he has been saying to me, like, Matthews hasn't been showing up for the playoffs for the past 3-4 years now. So it's kind of disappointing when the person who's supposed to be, leading the team, captaincy, someone the other players are turning to when it's like they're down or, you need kind of a boost to get back into the game, because it does have ebbs and flows, and he's not really showing up for that. It's frustrating as a fan to see that, and just consistently over years and nothing changing. So I don't know, something has to change about that.
I feel like that's like, how like the Sharks had Scott Thornton for years and years and years. You get, sometimes Joe Thornton. I said Scott. I don't know who Scott Thornton is. Joe. So Joe Thornton. And thank you for correcting me. But forever, and it's like they were in that kind of choking mode as well, and they just seem to. And I always kind of wonder, why are they so dedicated, to Thornton and Burns too? Is there like they just seem so dedicated to these popularity kind of crowd people, where now you're seeing that could it be this is a piece of the puzzle that's really kind of creating it? Because honestly, the only thing I could say is I just felt that Toronto from the very beginning was going to take their own selves out. They've been playing well. There's games they're playing really well. You've got some good hardy players you can keep up with with the Panthers and and take them on, and then there's just this collapsing of kind of And they were really talking about that last night. So it was really evident last night. Some of these teams, like some of these games have been, really close, coming down to the last minutes and stuff. It still seems like you guys are going to be last team standing. You're still in it but you got to take the Panthers on, in Florida to kind of bring it back home and
It's all they got. It's all they got. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's a holiday weekend. I mean, it's perfect setting, because
I believe it's going 7. I believe that Leafs will show up tomorrow and win it and just, steal a game and bring it back. And then, I don't know, maybe we get Stolarz back by Sunday. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I always had it going to 7. Like my bracket said 7. So anybody who has been moaning at me and saying, Leafs are out, I'm like, I had it going to 7 and it's not over till the series is over. So
it's over.
Look, I think this playoff series this year has been extra everything, extra dirty, extra intense, extra bad ref calls. I don't think I've heard the crowd screaming, "Ref, you suck," in any playoff round than this year, and then seeing some of these, and the way that these teams are playing to kind of, get through. And I think someone was saying for the Rangers, at least, it's like, not only that, it's not that they're dirty, it's just that they're brutal players and and they're playing just with such intensity. And I mean, again, I haven't seen as many fights. There's such brutal fights. That fight at the end, with was it Kachuk and Domi, right? I mean, if you know you're not going to win, you might as well just enjoy that, because like that's been crazy, to kind of see all these things happening, and then one by one they're going down. So tonight I expect that the Capitals, which I am wanting to see them go by, I already have a post and a song ready for them to go, and
counting the seconds since the start of the.
I'm ready, and so. And then the Jets are playing too.
Yeah, well, I had a question for the Canadians here. What if it's not Toronto? Do you want to see another Canadian team win it, or are you at that point? Are you like
Edmonton all the way?
Yeah, I
might even change teams next year.
I will not change teams, but if it's not Toronto, I want it to be Edmonton. I want a Canadian team to win. It's our sport.
Yeah,
that team is ridiculous.
Okay, and why
ridiculously good?
Why Edmonton and not Winnipeg?
I think Winnipeg are done. I think Dallas are going to be okay. So you've seen what happened with Dallas, right? Rantanen. You see what happened this season? So Rantanen gets traded from Colorado to Carolina. Mm-hmm. McKinnon's pissed off, and then he gets traded from Carolina because they can't take the salary cap on to Dallas, and he single-handedly destroys Colorado. And those guys are on fire. So I think Winnipeg are great. Yeah. He's 9 goals. And Hellebuck is a phenomenal goalie regular season. So I think they're done.
But so is Andre.
It goes into the playoffs, and Hellebuck's kind of messy.
So last year's matchup in the semifinals was Dallas and Edmonton, which is what it's going to look like.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So, I'm at a crossroads because I don't like Edmonton, but the Dallas game, they were all being gross and chanting like USA, and I'm like, I don't like that. So I don't really care who wins. I just hope they just beat each other up real heavily. And
maybe like Carolina, a good 7 game to watch. It goes in overtime and 7, and Edmonton wins. That would be great.
Like everything's been coming down, with the exception of 1 or 2 games. Sorry, like even everything's been coming down to the last 2 minutes. Of the game. It's so intense, and that's where my anxiety goes up. Game 4s, I get anxious because it can go 3-1. Like that. Those are just anxious games, and then. Just even like last night watching Edmonton and Vegas, I couldn't even watch it, but they're not my team, So I'm like, I was showing Liz, like, I kind of just put on my NHL app and cover the score that I don't want to change, or that, the other one. So, and then hope. And then of course, I didn't want to see Edmonton win. So, so I just watched it on my phone. But you guys, are you, and here's a good question too. Are you one, and this is a hard question, again, seeing people lose and leave, and after 4 goals when the game was half over, we've seen it. Are you one to leave early or stay to the end?
I'm staying till the end. Like, I paid my money for my ticket. My support for my team isn't changing. Like, you never know what can happen. Like, we saw it with the Winnipeg game. I know like 4 goals is a lot, 6 goals is a lot, but like, we watched the end of the Winnipeg game last series, like in a bar with a bunch of people, and it was crazy. Insane. And moments like that can happen.
Yes.
It was probably not going to happen yesterday.
Probably not.
But you never know. And it's like, maybe they could have turned it around and people were not leaving at 4 goals and people were cheering and bringing up the vibes. Who would have known what would have happened?
You never know.
Well, I'm opposite. I support the Leafs. I am a diehard, have been forever. I would have left too. I just can't take the torch anymore. I'm out. Right.
Overall, what's like the vibe in the city of Toronto with this team now? Is it they make the playoffs and everybody is optimistic at the beginning that this is going to be the real year and then the cycle starts again? Is it realistic at this point? How does it feel as a fan, like going into the playoffs and then versus where we are right now?
I think like what I've seen a lot of is like there's the people who really believe and then there's the people who want anybody but the Leafs to win. And that's kind of what we see around here. Yeah. It's like the people who really hardcore believe and then there's no in between of people who are like, meh. It's either people do not want the Leafs to win or they do.
See, and I would imagine in Toronto before last night's game, Toronto was probably vibing real high with like all the energy. And today, it's probably just dead, disappointed, not dead, but not the same vibe because Toronto fans they're huge. They're absolutely huge. They're one of the biggest followings in the NHL. So I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming that it's low vibing today. It wasn't just a beat. It was a pathetic loss. So I would imagine they're vibing low, feeling that same, oh, here we go again. It won't be a surprise if they lose tomorrow and just be done with it. And maybe that'll change tomorrow. Freaking better.
Do you know anyone who's like defected teams? Like they've gotten so frustrated with Toronto that they've just gone, well, forget it. I'm going to be a Boston fan or Winnipeg fan.
I've had a lot of my friends say it, but I think that's the whole point of the off season because I always call them out. I'm like, you're going to have the summer off. October comes around and you'd be like, oh, Leafs are back. I said, they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose. You get 3-4 months off and then they come back. It's like, here we go. Here's the year.
Relationship.
It's all first.
They do it to like get a reaction out of like other Leafs fans. They like say they're done, and then like a couple months later,
they never are. They never are.
Yeah, it's like a tether.
Well, it's better than being New York Ranger fans, where the minute a goal gets past the goalie, they're crucifying him and saying he should be traded. And along with the coach, 4 other players that were sitting on the bench and didn't have any clue as to what was going on. But it's going to be a whole stream of things, from day one. To the end.
Social media has given just about every angry fan like an outlet to say anything. And literally, Christina is right. I mean, maybe it's the same with Toronto, but in New York, literally after one good thing, everybody goes crazy. After one bad thing, and this is the regular season. This isn't even the playoffs. People are like ready to just they're just done. They're totally done with the team. And you're like, sir, that we've played 2 games this season.
I know. Where it's like pathetic and horrific. Things are running rampant with us. Who is as a Leafs fan? Who's your nemesis? What player team combination can you not stand? You already know. What do you have?
I have like a few.
For me, it's always gonna be Brad Marchand. Always till I die.
I'm with you on that. I agree. He's a little shit.
He's a little rat.
And now he's on Florida, which are the rats. He's the rat. He's the rat of the rats. Like
it's hard because people try to justify like he's Canadian. I'm like, but he played for Boston for so long.
Okay. Let's pause for a sec. The Leafs get the opportunity to pick up Brad Marchand. Yes or no?
I don't
know. I'd take him in a second.
I would take him on our team, but I just don't.
I wouldn't like him, and that's okay.
I wouldn't like seeing him really in our jersey, but he's a good player. You can't deny it.
He does his job perfectly, and then he scores goals. You have him. If we had that opportunity, I would take him.
Yeah.
And I would just drop everything.
I don't know.
It's so hard. It's
It's
like a moral
hard.
dilemma.
Yeah. It was even hard for me to cheer for him like on Team Canada.
Yeah, no, I get it. But you put that kind of personal stuff aside on him doing his job so well. That's why you hate him so much. Means he'd be a perfect fit on the Leafs, in my opinion. That'd be freaking amazing.
There's like a philosophy.
And how are you guys feeling about the coach?
Awesome.
Leafs coach?
Craig
Yeah.
Berube is awesome. One of the best coaches we've had in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints. I haven't.
It's so funny because I think if the Rangers were in the same position, everybody would be calling for whoever it is. They'd be calling for the coach's head, no matter what.
Well,
Seriously,
they were talking about that. They were talking about like, well, so here's the thing. You're talking about Matthews. You're talking like you really can rave about the coach. And so let's take some hypotheticals. Like, all right, if you get through, it's great. The victory is there. Right now Edmonton, I think, is favored. Through data-driven hockey, is favored right now in contention. Leafs are kind of falling just due to the loss, but it's nothing surprising. But they were talking about like things need to change. Like, what do you feel needs to change to have them progress?
I genuinely don't know. I feel like maybe
Yeah.
morale.
I
I
mean,
don't know how you fix that.
this year the team looked different. Defensively stronger. Stolar is a champ. Wool, yeah, I'm not sure about Wool. He is shaky and he tries to play hockey too much instead of goaltending. But by far a stronger team than we've had in years.
Yeah.
And it did show at the beginning, and now they're just falling apart. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
I
kind of
think-
felt that way too. But again, when you match it up against who you're playing, it makes it look. I mean, again, I think the Panthers really do play well in playoffs, and it's frustrating because we were their victims last year, and we saw it. Now for us, one of the problems, or one of the kind of complaints I think we had, was there was a lot of faith and a lot of good moves on the third and fourth lines, but they kept putting their faith into the first two lines and had them playing, which potentially could have cost us a game. But I don't also think any of us were really kind of keeping up with the momentum of the Panthers. So anything like that from what you guys have seen on the lines or anything, or do you just think it's more of just a general team?
I think they Julianna and Taylor got it right. It's the morale.
Yeah.
It just I just can't put a finger on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it will do to make them the better, a better team, but the morale is lost.
I think it
Interesting.
also comes down to the leadership. But like I said before, like I feel like we had Tavares for a bit, and I just feel like we haven't gotten the right kind of leadership for the team, honestly, in my opinion.
Do you think Matthews should have been given the captaincy this year? Because he's not showing it now.
We were talking about like a couple days ago about how
I think it's hard to know because like we see a lot of outside and we can make our like outside opinions, but I don't know what's happening in the change room. I don't know what's being said in there. So it's hard for us to make the decision. Like clearly the coaching staff should figure it out. They're there. So
you sound a lot like somebody like me.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, the point of this podcast is that we get to wildly speculate about exactly what's going on behind the scenes.
I think it's fun for us to be able to be like, yeah, maybe he should have got it, maybe he shouldn't. But genuinely, I have no clue. I think it was probably smart of them because they want someone to lead them for a long time, and they want him to be there for a long time. So it's probably smart of them to give him the captaincy, like to be there for a long time. Tavares is probably going to retire soon, so they probably wanted to hand it off maybe while he was still there to give him some guidance. So what their rationale was, I'm unsure, but hopefully he picks it up and really leads the team in these next two games.
Yeah.
I think they did it just to kind of trying to change the dynamic. I have never seen Tavares playing so good. He's only 36. I think he's got another 4 years in him.
Yeah,
so did they do it to change the dynamic?
Fair.
So
I don't know.
So ladies, like who's your favorite player on the team right now?
Let's say Matthew Nice.
William Nylander, stand for life. I love William Andrew. I think he's a good player. He shows up a lot of the time, but
Yeah, he
Matthew
does.
Ice is playing extremely well.
Yeah.
I said it because you two are young. And that's my daughter's favorite player. By far. He loves Matthew Nice.
Um,
So when you guys are sitting behind the bench, like, and you had a more of a closer kind of look, you know, does what we're kind of like what you guys are talking about here kind of vibe with what you were seeing, even though that was a good, like a better game? Like, did you notice anything else being in, you know, just closer to, you know, in proximity to the players in the game?
It felt good. Like they were talking to each
dialed.
other. They were in on the
Yeah.
game. Like that
They
was
were
a good
focused.
game.
Yeah, that was a great game. It was a close game too, but they
Yeah.
were really, you could see it on their faces just coming to the bench, even for after a shift. There was no shift in focus. Like they were dialed in on what they were doing, what they were there to do, and they got the job done. And I feel like maybe they're kind of losing that focus a little bit, coming in, getting nervous, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, but you know, nerves could take over and do that. I think it was Tyler Sagan, you know, like last year after they lost this playoffs, he kind of wrote, you know, a thing about what everyone speculates happens, you know, and why they didn't win. It's like, you know, what they think they're doing well, but if they can't match up to the energy and the plays of the other team, then to us it just looks different, you know, and how do they take that? You know, he's like, you got to get back in the game every single period, every single second, every single shift, every single game. So, you know, and then they got to go down. They got to go down and own Florida in their own arena, where Liz and I watched our team lose.
They can do that. There's as many Toronto fans in Florida as there are Leaf fans.
There's a lot. We were talking about that. I'm like, because I think when they had scored, I'm like, there's a lot of people down there, and they were saying it's probably cheaper for you guys to fly all the way down there.
To fly there and back, hotel for 2 nights and the tickets is cheaper than getting tickets at the actual Leaf game.
Yeah.
Is that your dog, Liz?
It is.
Does that mean Betty's back?
He does not understand that I'm doing a podcast right now.
It's all good. It's all
He's
good.
on it.
It makes
When the Jets won that game, Liz and I were together, and I started screaming, and Boshi almost took me out.
Boshi, I forgot. Yeah.
The dog is a little dog, but he doesn't
like joy and merriment. Before we wrap up, guys, predictions going forward. There's still a lot of hockey left. There's still a lot of teams left. I know we all have our brackets, but those are changing ever rapidly. I think you guys both said 7 games for Toronto Panthers. Do you see Toronto pulling this out? Like realistically here, do you see it happening?
I think if they win in Florida and they bring it home, they'll win at home.
For sure.
100%.
I am superstitious. I have no comment. It's going 7, and I'm leaving it at that.
And then we got 2 other games tonight, both 3-1. So I think how you said it's going to be Dallas, probably North Carolina.
Carolina moves on. I mean, Washington, what a great season they had. Ovechkin is wow. But Carolina move on. Dallas are just powerhouse right now. And then I think Edmonton takes Dallas out in 7. And I have nothing to say on the other side because I have no comment about Game 7.
You don't want to jinx it either. Do you have any
Nope.
any rituals, traditions? Are you washing your shirts? Are you not washing them?
Here's one for you. This is the first time I have worn Leaf attire all playoffs long. Every season before the game, right? Like 6:45, I put the jersey. I have a blue one and I have a white one. You two wouldn't even know these players. You remember Kyle Wellwood? No. Way too young for it. And how about one of the greats, Owen Nolan? Remember Owen Nolan?
Yes, heard of.
Well done.
Never seen.
So that I'm getting on. You know, I'm 46. So I used to like have it down to the actual time, 6:45, jersey on. This playoffs, nothing. No freaking.
It's your
Leaf
fault,
gear on
Kyle.
Yeah, maybe we need to bring it back.
Well, maybe I just brought it back. This is the first time. All right.
Like that hat.
So Taylor, like, what do you guys do? Like, you have to have a ritual.
Very superstitious. I have a pair of John Tavares socks that were gifted to me, and I'm very superstitious. The things in my room have to be in a specific way. it's a process here. Yeah.
I think it's important.
I just don't like to talk about anything about the game. Just watch the game, and that's it. Game day. But other than that, I don't have many superstitions. I just like to watch and zip. Don't say anything about anything. That's it, and then we'll see how it turns out.
I know when we're watching a game together at Liz's, and if she goes into the kitchen and we score, we keep making her go to the kitchen.
Yeah, right.
For a while.
The bathroom one, like I'd watch games where my daughter goes to the bathroom, she comes out, and they score on. Go to the bathroom again. Just do it. I don't need to. Just do it anyway.
They haven't been going to commercial breaks, especially not in the overtime. So, like at a certain point, you have to like kind of weigh out when you're going to do the run to the bathroom.
Correct.
And it's always when they seem to score.
Yep. No, I believe in those superstitions.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are pulling for you in some way, shape, and form. It would be great.
Throw some rats. Try to go on. Just throw the rats at them. Give them their own medicine.
Yeah, we were there. We understand the feeling. The Rangers have a very similar track record to Toronto these days. So I think that we feel your pain, and I would love to see a Toronto Maple Leaf Stanley Cup. That would be super fun.
Can you imagine Toronto Edmonton finals and it goes to 7 and it goes to overtime? There's a prediction.
Oh my God! You guys might set Kevin on fire. Well, the other thing is the PWHL team. I know they just lost to Minnesota, but the women's team was in the semifinals too. So my son was talking about like it'd be great to see both teams go all the way. But Minnesota beat the Scepters, and so they're going into the finals for the PWHL in their second season. So tomorrow, the other two teams are going to be playing, but that's pretty good too. I mean, bottom line right now, it's like, still for at least today, we have 3 Canadian teams in there, which we haven't seen in a long time.
Very true.
We might be losing one and today, and then hopefully I want you guys to pull through tomorrow, push it through to Game 7, because hockey's starting to wind down, and it gets lonely and sad when we go from 2 games to 1 game to no game.
Right.
So we're definitely pulling for you. Edmonton's got a break, so 2 good games are happening. I know. Hopefully, Carolina is losing right now. I mean, is winning.
It's 1-1. It is 1-1 right now. We're recording this during the Hurricanes Capitals game. It is 1-1.
But it started. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch Ovechkin cry, and hopefully somebody steps on Wilson's head.
You got to give it to Ovechkin. That
I know.
He's something. He's something.
Yeah.
All right,
whatever.
then don't. I think he's awesome.
It's a whole other podcast about Christine's feelings about the Capitals.
I know, and the little conspiracy theory that I have. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah, but they'll be gone today. I'll be happy, and then when
You just
Dallas
jinxed it.
takes out Edmonton, that's fine. I'm not really worried about
Washington going to win tonight. You just jinxed that. Just watch.
We'll find out. Thanks, everybody. Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.
Let's go, you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.